So when I was on YouTube, this random video popped up and started playing without me clicking on it. It was an old Oprah Winfrey episode from 1997 where she was interviewing Ellen DeGeneres after she came out of the closet as a lesbian on the cover of Time magazine. And I will include a link to that video in the description box below this one so you can watch it for reference if you so desire. But it was interesting watching this because as a professional psychic medium and someone who has a difficult truth myself, because I had to come out of the closet as a psychic medium, I watched this episode with kind of a different eye because I was paying close attention to what the audience members were saying, and the questions that they were asking and the assertions they were making were very difficult for me because they weren't aligned with truth, which is why I thought it was important to make this video trying to align people with the truth about the LGBTQ community. One woman said, "Why should we accept it?" And this was really difficult for me because that's like the equivalent of just giving God the middle finger. She was judging Ellen, putting herself on a pedestal above her. She was coming from a place of ego. It's like, I'm normal and you're not. And it was like Ellen was going in front of the review board. And the reason why this was difficult for me to watch is because Ellen's truth came from God. That's true. That's correct. Ellen's truth came from God. Ellen is being challenged as a soul. And she is growing and evolving as a soul simply by walking this path and speaking this truth. She's learning self-love, personal power, courage, bravery, the importance of speaking your truth under compromising, under the pressure of compromise and conformity, marching to the beat of your own drum, etc. So Ellen is gaining these virtues as a result of being challenged as a soul. And when you gain virtues, what happens to your soul? Your soul becomes a closer energetic match for the divine energy itself. So Ellen is actually improving her connection to the divine. So it was interesting watching this woman frown upon Ellen for that, when I'm like, no, if you knew the real dynamics of what was going on with her soul, you wouldn't be saying that. So there's nothing to accept. Ellen should be respected and revered for speaking her truth under the pressure of compromise and conformity by societal standards. Ellen's dad is very religious, so she said that he didn't understand it. And it's tough because the Bible says it's a sin. The Bible says it's going against God. Well, the Bible was written by mortals, and those mortals were actually incorrect. So Ellen is not sinning. She's actually doing the exact opposite. She's following her truth. And her truth came from God, and he gave it to her. So another audience member said that being homosexual is a choice. That's not true either. It's not a choice. That's like saying having blue eyes is a choice. And homosexuality is not a choice. It's their truth, and it's coming from their soul. Another woman asked Ellen why she was talking about her sexuality since it's so personal. And Ellen said, I want people to know that it's okay. And she's right, it is okay. So good for her for being that positive role model, letting people know that it's okay to come out of the closet with your truth. But the woman said, I'm not walking around saying that I'm straight. It's like, exactly. That's exactly the point I want to make. Because nobody would care. You do not have a difficult truth in this particular department of your life. I'm not saying her path is easy. I'm saying that her path is easier in this respective area because she fits in with the rest of society. She doesn't stick out. So no one's going to bat an eye if she says she's straight because nobody cares. So go blend in with the masses because your soul is not being challenged in this arena, whereas Ellen's is. So yeah, that's why she's talking about it. So one of the tough things about coming out of the closet is that those closest to you, your closest friends, family, etc., people that love you, don't understand you anymore. They don't understand you. They might love you, but they don't understand you. So when you sit down and have dinner with them and they talk about your life, When you bring up your personal life, they're just kind of like, okay, sounds good. I don't get it, but that's great. It's kind of like me talking about my day with my job. It's like, oh, I spent the day talking to spirit guides. It's like, okay, Christine, that's great. I don't understand it, but whatever. So Ellen said, it's wonderful to be loved, but it's profound to be understood. And I thought that was a great quote, and I put it on my Twitter. And that's what you lose. You lose that understanding when you come out of the closet with a difficult truth. People aren't going to understand you, including the people closest to you. And it's hard, you know? It's like they can't relate to you anymore, and that creates distance and separation. It puts a strain on your relationships. It's hard. You experience this loss, but you're also leading a more authentic life. So it's really important to speak your truth. Another audience member said that she didn't want homosexuals influencing, our children. They're a bad influence, and they're dumping that into the hearts and minds of our children. Homosexuality is not something that's contagious. It is your truth, and it comes from within. It comes from your soul. But it's actually quite the opposite. Members of the LGBTQ community, in my opinion, are positive influences because they teach people to march to the beat of their own drum, the importance of speaking your truth, and the importance of leading an authentic life and being who you really are. I think that's a fantastic role model for our children. So no, it's not considered perversion. And it's not something negative that we're, quote, dumping into their hearts and minds. It's something to be respected and admired and looked up to. So, yeah. When I tuned into the other side and kind of got their opinion about stuff and just kind of this topic in general, is they asked for people to support the LGBTQ community, no matter what your respective, sexual preferences are. They're asking you to support that community and not be so discriminatory against them and listen to them and try to understand them. And part of listening to them is asking them, how is your soul different? If you compare your soul to how it was before you came out of the closet compared to how your soul is now, what did you learn? And listen to their answer, because that'll tell you right there their truth came from God. How did your soul grow and evolve? Oh, well, X, Y, and Z. It's like, oh, wow. Okay. That's what the divine wanted. Soul's growth. That's why we're here. That's why we're here. Soul's growth. So that's what the other side was asking for, was more activism, more support, and more people speaking out for the LGBTQ community. And they were saying that, we need to help give them a voice because the path they're walking is a difficult one. It's not easy at all. So they wanted us to support them. And Miss DeGeneres, when I tuned into the other side about you speaking your truth, I did not expect what I got. Clairsentiently, clear feeling. I picked up on this rush of energy from the other side that consisted of love, compassion, appreciation, and applause for speaking your truth. So Ellen DeGeneres, I applaud you for coming out of the closet. They applaud you for coming out of the closet. And thank you for setting a good example for everybody else to speak their truth, no matter how difficult it is. And in the meantime, take care and be well. Thank you.